Hello, my friend, and Happy New Year 2023. Today's reading is totally different from readings I've done in the past because New Year means new energy. And for today's reading, you do not have to choose if you don't want to pick a pile. So I am making today's reading a collective energy reading where you do get the choice as far as customization goes about whether you want to hear every message or just some of the messages. So before I play the singing bowl to cleanse the space and purify the decks and all that good stuff, let me just briefly describe for you what I'm going to do today. And please let me know in the comments how you felt about it and if this is the type of reading you'd like to see going forward this year. And so what we're going to do today is a collective reading, meaning these are messages that will apply to all of us as a collective, myself included. If you weren't already aware, I'm letting you know now. I get messages for myself sometimes when I do these readings, and it's very interesting how that works. And I've also noticed people will pick the same pile as each other, hear the exact same words, but internalize the messages in a way that is unique to their own situation, which I think is just so magical and wonderful and alchemical and transmutational. We are all so tapped in when we do this. And so I've got the confidence to say, we are a collective here. We do share a lot in common energetically. And so there will be messages for each of us in all three of these piles. So you don't have to pick your favorite pendant. You don't have to pick which pile you're drawn to, but you can pick whether you want to listen to just one of these readings or two of them or all three of them. So the first reading we're going to go into is the energies underlying your experience for this year. By the energies, I'm talking about the specific experiences that you're drawing into your reality based on past karma, based on goals for the future, based on how we've been living. I say you, but I mean we, because this is a collective energy. So for 2023, what are the underlying energies that are going to structure our experience? The second section of the reading is to do with the physicality. So how is this going to take place in a practical way? And then the third pile is a topic I've kind of shied away from on my channel, but I feel like it's very important to start including because whenever I do a personal reading for somebody, so when a client hires my services, 90% of the time, what they want to know about is romance. Where is the love life headed? So collectively, what are the romantic energies that we are drawing in and experiencing in this year? And so pile one, the energies underlying our life experience in 2023. Pile two, the practicality. So how is this going to look in our lives? And pile three, romance. How is our love life gonna be? So if you want to hear all of it, the energy, the practical, and the romance, just keep watching. If you would rather just hear one of them or the other one of them or all, two of them, check the timestamps in the video description for the specific piles. But starting with the energies, the talisman I've chosen to represent the frequency, the energy, the crystal vibes of this year is a little vial pendant that I've made that includes gemstones for each of the 7 chakras. Energetically, we can experience life from a very etheric place if we're tapped into our mystical awareness and we're looking into light worker phenomenon, path working, finding out what gifts we're here to bring. We could experience the world from a very loving, romantic, connected way to other people if we're predominantly functioning from the heart. Or we can be very ambitious and goal-getting in our career if we're mainly in the solar plexus. Or we can be very physical and athletically driven and bodybuilding if we're living from the root. So we have 7 energy centers in our physical bodies that connect to our spiritual body. And those centers are the chakras. When we wear chakra gems that simultaneously energize and cleanse and awaken all 7, instead of being overly maybe analytical and intellectual but less physically grounded, or super neat, tidy, and physically healthy but a little bit less spiritually aware, when we awaken all 7, we get the best life experience in any realm, in every realm. So I feel like the best way we can start the new year is to activate all 7 of those energy centers. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I started shuffling, but first I'm going to play the singing bowl to cleanse the energy in my tarot space, to set the tone for today's reading. As I do this, please take a deep breath in. Exhale slowly when you feel ready. We're setting the intention that all the messages coming through today come through from a space of the highest love, light, and truth. Let these be the messages that resonate with the collective in a way that will be beneficial to help us achieve the greatest success in our lives in 2023. That's better. And now it's time to shuffle these cards. Oops. If they want to be shuffled. There we go. So in my personal readings that I offer to clients, one of the options is called the Life Path Energies Oracle reading. And what that reading includes is a glimpse at the energies we brought down into this life with us. So what are the talents that we can best express? What are our gifts? What's our natural tendency and inclination? What is our life path on an energetic plane? And these are the same cards I work with when I do those life path energies readings. So those are very specific, customized to the individual getting the reading. What we're going to look at today are more general, because this is a collective reading, and they're not going to go back to early childhood. They're going to go back to last year, so 2022, the present moment, and the year ahead. So just so you know, if you want to see your personal reading as opposed to a big group reading, I have finally included personal tarot oracle readings as one of the items available in my Etsy shop, so we don't have to go through a third party through Wizio like we always used to, which can be a little cumbersome because it's hard to send messages back and forth in that platform. But in Etsy, if you book a personal reading with me, you can send me a message, let me know what you most want to know about, give me a little bit of background about the questions if you have a question that you're asking, and before I pull the cards, we can get to know each other a little bit. So I feel it's more of a personal platform. So I will have the links to that in the video description, but for now, let's look at the energies in our collective in 2023. We have present moment, past, which means kind of last year, and future, which is the year to come. This is the outer world. And then in the inner space, we have present. Ooh, it's a powerful one. Past and future. So collectively speaking, we are rocking when it comes to life. And the reason I say that is that This deck is divided into suits based on the elemental energies. We have earth, air, fire, water, and storm, which represents spirit or the etheric. When a reading includes all 5 of those energies, it means that just like the chakra gems here, we have balanced ourselves. We're not entirely physical, entirely intellectual, entirely emotional, entirely creative passion, entirely mystical, spiritual. We are a bit of everything. And so first and foremost, 2023 is a year of energetic balance. So if I were to sum up this aspect of today's reading for us as a collective, it is harmonized energy, balancing our energies. I always start in the present moment. So what's going on with us as a collective right now? In the outer space, the mindfulness card is reversed, which means we're all a little distracted. We've all gotten a little bit excited over the holidays. It is December 30th when I'm pulling these cards. Oh, and I just looked at the timer on my cell phone exactly as it hit 11:11 on the recording. So that's a sign. If you are noticing repeat numbers, I usually keep my eyes on the cards. The fact that that number jumped out at me, if you've been seeing a lot of 11:11, that's your message from existence that you are in the right place at the right time. So, how perfect that I got distracted by a repeat number while describing the fact that as a collective, we're going through some distraction right now. The mindfulness card shows the figure of the Buddha with a halo of the full moon in the background with these rays of light similar to the rays of light we would see emanating from an awakened third eye. And in fact, his third eye in the card is a miniature of the moon. It might just look like a white circle from a distance, but if I can get the camera to really focus here, you'll see that there's a moon over the Agnya Chakra, just as there's a moon in the background framing him. What the mindfulness card represents, if it's right side up, is being aware of the present moment, seeing reality for what it is, analyzing and interpreting the circumstances of life from a place of clarity. It's an air element card, which is the element of thoughtfulness, contemplation, intellectualization. When the card is reversed, it's showing that we have these skills. We are capable of being mindful. We are able to analyze, interpret, and understand the circumstances we're going through. But we've allowed ourselves to be distracted by the physical world. So thoughts about finances, relationships, family dynamics, the workplace politics, the politics. We have lost touch with our meditative inner self. And of course, it makes sense that this is an outer world card because outwardly, we're not always connected to our inner world self. However, when we take time to meditate on a regular basis, and when we allow ourselves to not react to what's going on, but to take the time to consider first before we come to a judgment or to a reaction, we are more capable of flowing in life in a way that we create the reality we want rather than being subjected to the reality that is. Mindfulness is like the blank canvas on which we can manifest the painting that is our world experience. When we're not mindful, life happens to us. When we are mindful, we create our lives. So first and foremost, in the present moment, we are all being given this message to be more mindful. So do more meditation. The next time you feel yourself getting triggered intellectually, like you want to argue with somebody and set them straight, you want to, jump in before you fully understand the situation and say, no, I know what this is. No, let's all stop ourselves before we jump to a reaction and get back into that present moment mindful space. So I will rectify that reversal, just because once we are aware that something has been blocked, that in and of itself clears the blockage, which is what I love about doing tarot readings. When we have a pattern, it continues to be a pattern if we keep mindlessly doing what we've always done. But the moment we realize we're in a pattern, we have the choice. Hey, is this working for me? If so, keep going. Is it not working for me? If so, let's back up and restructure. So in the outer world, let's be more mindful. In the inner world, we know that something big is happening. The storm card in its pure form, meaning there's no keyword and there's no crystal to go along with it. It's just the pure energy of storm. This is the most powerful card in the deck when it comes to a catalyzed spiritual awakening. So while outwardly we've allowed the world to take us out of our mindful space, inwardly the energy has been building up to an explosive point where we're going to have a massive epiphany. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already done this for this year, sit down with yourself, maybe with a journal, and write down what are your goals for 2023. And I'm not talking about what's your New Year's resolution. Maybe it could be a New Year's resolution, but I'm talking more sacred than that. How do you want to feel in 2023? What kind of spiritual connection do you wish to forge with your guides, with like whatever you believe in, God, whether it's existence, whether it's goddess consciousness, whether it's any religion or every religion? What kind of a connection do you want with higher source? Do you wish to channel divine wisdom and allow your body to be a vessel for sacred grace? Do you want to do sound healing? Do you want to be someone who helps this world awaken to a higher reality? Do you want to just forget about the world and awaken to your own higher reality and experience something transformational within yourself? Sometimes when we get clear about what it is that we want, that clarity allows existence to fulfill it. I'm sure you've heard the term self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's like the spiritual equivalent of the placebo effect. When somebody takes a sugar pill, believing it to be medicine, their belief that this medicine is going to change something in their physiology creates that change in their physiology. Mind over matter. Their thought about what this is going to do to their body makes it happen to their body. Similarly, when we believe that we are divine beings in the right place at the right time, having spiritual experiences, we will see synchronicities start to happen. We create a manifested reality for ourselves when we believe that we are creating a better manifested reality for ourselves. So the same way patients who take a placebo experience healing in a way that medically makes no sense, similarly, the moment we start to believe in ourselves in an energetic way, we will see our lives change for the better in a way that to a non-believer would make no sense. But I'm saying this makes perfect sense because I've experienced it, I've seen it happen. And if you listen to just a little bit of messages from divine channels like Bashar or Abraham Hicks, they explain it so clearly that what we believe to be our reality is our reality. And so whether you call it putting something into your vortex or choosing to follow your passion, how you decide to do it creates a massive explosion of new possibilities. And when we see the storm card upright in the inner space, it means now is a time for us to collectively manifest a greater reality than what we've experienced so far. And this is the answer to the prayers that we made in 2022. So the outer world card for the year gone by is the card of prayer, represented by the stone fulgurite, which is a really cool stone that forms when lightning strikes sand. So you get these cool sand structure tube formations that are shaped like the lightning bolt. And it represents the energy from above connecting with the earth below. That fusion point solidifies as a fulgurite. So you have declared what you want to manifest. You have asked for something to change. You have prayed, you've intended, you've put something into your vortex, you've manifested, you've made your vision board, you've journaled what you want to see come into fruition. It's been there, and now it is coming into that fruition. So it's like you've asked for it, now you're getting it. The key to getting it is to not let go or give up or think that it's not going to happen if you haven't seen it physically manifest yet. It's kind of like if you order something delicious to be delivered to your place and you're really hungry and you place that order and you get the notification, your delivery is on the way. If you think, well, I ordered it, I asked for it, but it's not here yet, so I guess it's not coming. So you leave your place to go to the store to buy something. The delivery will arrive, but you won't be there to get it. And meanwhile, you will have wasted money buying something else. Similarly, when it comes to manifestation, if we ask for something and start the wheels in motion to materializing it, if before it has fully materialized, we feel defeatist and say, well, I put this in my vortex, I made my vision board, I asked for this thing that I want really badly, but I don't see it yet, so it must not be coming, so I guess I shouldn't be asking for it, and we talk ourselves out of the thing that we're manifesting and start manifesting something else instead. That's like telling the universe, you know what, I know I ordered this thing, but I'm leaving, so don't bother delivering it. We can cut that energy short. That's what happens if mindfulness is reversed. But we've rectified that mindfulness. So as far as 2022 is concerned, there is an energy of unfulfilled intentions. Look at the inner space card. It's the card of intention. It's a fire element card. It's passion. It's creativity. It's this feeling of creating a new reality. We started the process of that manifestation in 2022. The present moment is a time when we can really powerfully call it in to experience it. And over the year to come, we have to release any feelings of self-doubt, any feelings like we've been doing things wrong. We have to forgive ourselves for what we haven't yet achieved. Sometimes, like you can't cook a new meal if your dishes are dirty. You've got to clean up first and then get started. There are some ideas that we need to let go of in order to experience the fulfillment and the purity of what it is we've intended to create. Now, this is in the year to come, so this isn't the work for us to do at this moment. The work to do at the moment is to get into the mindful space and to allow that storm energy to activate us in the inner space, to activate our continued intention and to continue that prayer, to keep asking for what it is that we want with the belief that by nature of the fact that we want it, we are meant to get it. And then as we move into the future, release, release, release. So for example, you pray for career success. You set a strong intention that you're going to develop the work that you're doing and experience a breakthrough. As you live your life and wait for that manifestation to come to fruition, keep putting energy into it. Remember, manifestations happen when we believe that they are going to happen. And anytime a self-deprecating thought comes up, anytime you get that feeling like, well, it hasn't happened yet, so maybe it will never happen, release that. Release that. Purify that. The release card is a water element card, and it represents cleansing in the highest way possible. See this beautiful underwater structure as a representation of the temple of your inner space. What do we see inside that temple? nothing but pure light. It is cleansed, it's ready for you to go in and make whatever you want. The release card is all about letting go of clutter, letting go of the thoughts that clutter your mind, letting go of the judgments that define you in a way you no longer wish to be defined. Let go of anything that doesn't feel like your truth. Since it's in the outer world as well, this can also mean letting go of toxic relationships. That doesn't mean you have to tell somebody, you're toxic, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. It means shield and protect yourself. And if you feel that somebody triggers negative emotions in you, set boundaries. You don't have to be what everybody else wants you to be. Release, release, release. And in the inner space, it came up reversed, which just means it's a possibility. It's not set in stone. No pun intended, since these are crystal cards, but it's not set in stone. It's an option for you, but protection. So the obsidian card is an earth element card, and earth is all about groundedness, practicality, physical strength, and stability. Obsidian is a stone that creates something of an energetic shield around us to ensure that the ill will from others who might be jealous or who might want to hold us back or might have fear patterns that want to prevent us from going too far in any direction, because sometimes it's not even a negative intention. It's not that they want us to fail. It's that they're afraid that we might fail if we go too big or if we extend ourselves too far, and that fear can hold us back. Wearing a piece of obsidian or keeping obsidian around our homes protects us from that unwanted barrier, unwanted toxicity that others may consciously or unconsciously project towards us. So I would highly recommend, if you are looking to keep yourself in the highest possible vibes in 2023, investing in some obsidian in order to shield yourself would be great. It doesn't have to be obsidian. It could also be black tourmaline, black tektite. Any of the black stones make great protective amulets. And also some aquamarine would be great. Aquamarine is a throat chakra stone, so it has to do with knowing and expressing our personal truth. When the throat chakra is energized, we don't just say the things that we think others want to hear. We say what we genuinely feel, what we know to be the truth. It's a beautiful card for releasing the blockage, like, do I have the right to say what I want to say? Does anybody even want to listen to me? Are my points valid? Anytime we hesitate to speak, and this is not just in relation to other people, this can also be the hesitation to post on social media, like, who wants to see my updates? Who wants to read what I want to say? It can be even within our own selves when it comes to journaling. I know people who say, I don't know what to write. When we don't know what to express, how to express, whether or not we are valid in expressing, that's a blockage in the throat chakra. And aquamarine is my absolute favorite throat chakra gem to keep that fluidity of expression. So the best stone for knowing yourself in 2023, aquamarine. The best stones for shielding your energy and protecting yourself, obsidian, black tourmaline, black tektite. So those are our energies. It's a time of manifestation. I like that. Now let's look at some practical cards. So while the Crystal Ally deck shows us energetic templates that we live, the tarot shows us more specific messages relating to the world that we're in. So the talisman that I've picked to represent that, and by the way, all of these gemstone pieces I'm showing are also in my Etsy shop, the same place where you can book a reading. You can also pick up a piece of gemstone if you want to. And so the stone I've picked to represent our physical lives is petrified wood. Petrified wood is an alchemist stone because it is the transmutation of something that's time has ended, but that has become something even more precious and permanent than when it was before. It's like a stone of immortality. Petrified wood is the opalized matter of an ancient tree that over centuries and millennia has become crystalline. So you may have heard mystics talk about becoming a human crystal, or crystallizing your identity, or becoming eternal. Petrified wood is the talisman for that. It's a stone of transmutation. And so when that ancient forest died, it didn't just deteriorate and disappear. It became a perfect crystal. It became something permanent that we now hold as a precious gemstone. And it shows a portrait of existence. I just love the different colors, the markings, the striations in the stone. It looks so cool. And especially on this side, there's a really cool landscape. Doesn't this look like the sea, like the shore on a beautiful cloudy day? Clouds are not bad, by the way. Sunshine is wonderful. A sunny day is beautiful, but a cloudy gray day is also wonderful because we need rain in order to live. We need water to sustain us. And so what I see in this landscape-like image in petrified wood is the beautiful water element from that sea merging up into the sky. And there's even little lines as if it's raining down on the ground. So ending that drought and becoming a crystalline, eternal being, petrified wood. So I'm going to shuffle these cards before we look into it. We've already seen what are the energies permeating our life experience in 2023. Now I want to know, practically speaking, how is this going to look in our lives? So for example, if you book a reading with me and you have a question like, what did this person mean when they said blah, blah, blah? These would be the cards to look at because they include both positives and negatives. They show the 78 cards of the tarot go into aspects that reflect our various stages of life, experiences of life. If somebody wants to know which decision is better, should I do this or should I do that? I like to look at tarot cards. Maybe I'll do a whole other video about which cards to use for which situations and how to read tarot. That's on my 2023 intention list, by the way. A series of videos about how to read tarot cards. All right. We have present, past, and future in the outer world. Present, past, and future in the inner world. So this is interesting. We always start in the present moment. Sorrow in the outer world is showing that, like I said, with regards to the energies, if you watch that reading as well, we have set the intention to manifest over 2022, but we feel, oh, I just saw 3333 on the timestamp, by the way. So again, repeat number confirming for us to be zen, be present in the moment. We've set the intention to manifest all kinds of wonderful things over the past year, but we start to feel a little defeatist if we don't see them yet coming to fruition. The holidays can be especially triggering to a lot of people and can make us feel like another year has gone by. What do I have to show for it? Am I in the right place? Why don't I have this yet? Why don't I have that yet? That type of sorrow is something that, you know, it may not feel as extreme as the character in this card who is bawling his eyes out. It may be to a lesser degree or to a greater degree. Since this is a collective reading, it will be more or less intense to each of us. But it shows that in the outer world, we don't yet have what we want. We feel like we've done our work, we've set our intentions, we've done our manifestations. Why are we not yet seeing the fruits of our labors, the fruits of our intentions? When we see that card of sorrow in the outer world, the best thing that we can do is sit with our emotion. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to force yourself to feel differently than how you feel. Don't shame ourselves. If we feel like we are disappointed that the thing we wanted to manifest didn't manifest, we don't have to tell ourselves it's dumb to feel sad, be patient, wait for it. No, nothing is ever dumb in our emotions. We have the right to feel what we feel, or we wouldn't be feeling it. So allow yourself to have a good cry if you feel like crying. Allow yourself to feel disappointed if you feel disappointed. Don't judge yourself. Sit with that emotion, but also ask yourself, is this how I want to feel? Is this how I enjoy feeling? Because it probably isn't. I'm sorry, I don't mean to tell you how you should feel, but I'm sure we prefer to feel good rather than feel bad. So acknowledge the sorrow, go into the sorrow, release the tears, cry it out, but also ask ourselves, do we have to feel sorrowful? Because according to the energy cards that we just looked at, the lightning bolt moment of manifestation is available to us in the present moment. And if we don't believe that we have the power to create the reality we want to create, we won't create it. We have to trust ourselves. The Fool card reversed in the inner space of the present moment is telling us that we have become afraid to try. It's kind of like, you know what, I've tried doing things in the past, they haven't worked out, so I'm going to stay in my comfort zone now. I'm not going to step off that cliff because I don't want to fall. I'm not going to start a new job because it might not be successful. I'm not going to tell people how I feel because they might reject me. I'm not going to create some new pieces of art because in the past it hasn't led to anything. We've let our past disappointments stop us from going for what we want in the present. The Fool Tarot card is the very first card in the major arcana, which comes first in the deck. This is the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. And in it, we see this young man stepping off a cliff, but he's not committing suicide. He is stepping into his possibility. He's holding a bouquet of flowers in this image, which means he's ready to pursue love. He's ready to put himself out there. He's ready to see what life has in store for him. He's not afraid. His arms are outstretched as if he's in flight. The Fool, it's a silly name for the card because it implies foolishness. It's actually the first step. And the reason it's called the Fool is that when we start something new, we don't know what it's going to lead to. If we step into the unknown, we can't say, I am planning my journey, because it's the unknown. We don't know what we're stepping into. When the card is reversed, it means we've become afraid of the unknown. We've become afraid of putting ourselves out there and exploring. However, that's a product of the sorrow. The world may have led us to be disappointed in some ways, but that doesn't mean we should close ourselves off to new possibilities. So I'm rectifying that reversal now. Let's not be closed off to our potential just because we haven't achieved it yet, okay? Let's be open to going for what we want, because if we don't go for it, we'll never get it. 2022 saw participation in the outer world, which is a great card. It's the Dorje symbol of Buddhism, which is the lightning bolt symbol. So very interesting that in the energies cards, there was a storm card in this position. This is showing a repeat of that same message of prayer. Participation is all about the self, connecting with close friends and family, connecting with society as a whole, connecting with the universe and existence and the spiritual realm. When all come together and participate, we co-create a reality. And so if you look at it from a distance, it's a Dorje. If we look at it close up, each piece of this beautiful symbol is a pair of hands. So it's showing communion, partnership, the creation of something. It means we've made good connections over the past year, so we can pat ourselves on the back and say, like, yes, we have found community, we've found support, we found maybe a workplace where we get along for some. It could be healed family relationships for others, it could be partnerships for others, but for each of us, we have formed a good connection over the past year. Internally, the guidance card reversed shows that there were messages sent to us from Spirit that we didn't listen to. So the past is the past. We can't really change what happened, but we can look back with awareness and ask ourselves, those things that happened that we didn't like, did we actually learn something from them? We have to sometimes grudgingly admit that situations we didn't enjoy were learning experiences. Disappointments may not have taught us we can get what we want, but they may have taught us we need to be more clear in what we ask for. We may need to experience what we don't want in order to learn what we do want. Have you ever asked somebody, what did you get out of your last relationship? And they tell you, well, I learned what I don't want in a partner. I've said that myself. I've heard people say that. When the guidance card is reversed, it shows we have had lessons in 2022 that we didn't always pay attention to. Let's not belittle the fact that sometimes we have to be shown what we don't want in order to be able to manifest what we do want. So let's be the fool. Let's be fools out here. And I'm not talking about being stupid or being foolish or being silly. I'm talking about let's be willing to take risks. Let's be willing to step into the unknown. Let's be willing to ask for what we want, even if we haven't gotten it yet. Do you know how I know that we can still manifest our ideal? That we can still achieve our dreams? Do you know how I know that? Because we're alive. I'm talking, you're hearing me. By nature of those two facts, we are physically present in human bodies. We matter, we are matter, and we do matter, and we can matter. We can materialize what we want. By nature of the fact that you're alive, you have the chance to change your life. By letting go of the hesitation and the fear and the self-sabotage, you empower yourself and allow yourself to step into that unknown. So the best thing that we can do in order to step into a better future is let go of the defeatist attitude that it's not worth trying. Let go of the fear mentality that says, I don't want to go into the unknown because there could be disappointment there. Decide, we're willing to go into the unknown because there could be fulfillment there. There could be something wonderful. The best news I have for you in these cards is that both of the future cards are positive and both of them are right side up. So whatever sorrow we're going through, whatever mourning we're going through, if you've lost somebody who you love, that sorrow can be very deep, and it's important to go through that grieving as a way of honoring that loved one and your connection. If you've lost a situation or a living space or something that you really enjoyed, you are correct to grieve that. It is a loss. It's worthy of grieving. The only thing that it's not worthy of is limiting yourself and blocking your future possibilities. And wonderfully, I feel that by rectifying the reversals of guidance and of the Fool, we are opening ourselves to the card of infinite possibilities. We see the eagle here soaring over a landscape just as the sun is rising from behind those hills. For my starseed friends, brothers and sisters of the galactic family, the eagle is a representation of Arcturus. So when Arcturians have messages for us and they express through the animal kingdom, we'll sometimes see an eagle. And so if that has personal significance for you, there it is. There's the eagle flying in the sky. The possibilities card means that 2023 is fully open. I just saw 4444 on the timestamp, so another repeat number, very positive. Possibilities are available to us. It's just a matter of taking flight and acknowledging them. And the inner world card of friendliness is showing that our self-speak is becoming more beautiful, more self-supportive, more manifestational, if that's a word. When our inner dialogue is self-deprecating and we make a mistake and say, I'm so stupid, or we say something awkward to somebody we like and then we agonize over it and say, why did I just say that? That was dumb. Ooh. When our inner dialogue is critical of ourselves, we limit who we are. But when our inner dialogue, and by nature of the fact that this card is in the inner world space, it represents our inner dialogue, so who we are within ourselves, when that becomes friendly, people can see the difference. I'm sure you've heard that confidence is attractive, that a boss is going to promote a confident employee rather than an employee who's like, oh, I'm not very good at my job, obviously. Romantically, a person who exudes confidence will be attractive to the people who they like because that confidence makes other people think, wow, that individual has something to give. Maybe I should find out. If they look so confident, they must have something really great going on, right? When our inner dialogue becomes friendly and we truly love ourselves and we like ourselves and we feel that we have strengths and we have gifts to share with the world and we are proud of who we are, that in the inner world comes through as confidence in the outer world. So our key to confidence in 2023 is to have a friendly inner dialogue. As far as repeat numbers go, we're seeing 2 and 2. So the number 2 card in the elements here, the number 2 card in the water element there. When we see 2 2s, it's showing a gateway. If you see the number 2 in Roman numeral form, it's 1 1. And so when we see 2 2, that becomes 1 1 1 1. So there's your 11 11 once again. And especially in the friendliness card, these 2 trees become a gateway. That's like a portal energy. So because this card came up in the inner space, I'm seeing it as a friendliness in the inner dialogue. But if you started watching this reading with any kinds of question about romance or relationships, usually I see this card as a card representing the most sacred kind of romantic relationship we can possibly have, which is where your beloved is like your best friend. The most solid foundation for a relationship is friendship, when you're able to truly listen to the other and you feel truly heard by the other. So these trees, they're not identical. They're not twin trees. One of them is yellow, the other one is red. They are not the same. They might have different goals, different aspirations, different passions, different favorite songs, different favorite foods. They are different individuals. But that creates such a beautiful third energy when they come together. Look at the branches, how the yellow in this tree and the red in this tree are intermingling, and we see orange. Look at where the leaves have fallen on the ground below. The red and the yellow have blended to turn into orange. So romantically, I see this as a very positive card because it shows the coupling of different energies to reach a space of harmony. How boring would it be if you were listening to 2 singers and instead of harmonizing where one goes high and the other goes low, they both sang the same note in the same key? I mean, it would probably still sound good, but it wouldn't sound magical. So there might be a little message in there for you. I'm not sure. Let me know. But I feel like 2023 is a year for us to manifest something better in our outer world than what we've experienced so far. And the key to that, to sum up once again, is friendliness in the inner dialogue. Be confident about who you are. Nobody else could be who you are. You are the best you. And remind yourself of that. Tell yourself nice little things. And on that note, I think that the friendliness card was the perfect segue into the third component of today's New Year's reading, which is the romance cards. So these can be taken in different ways depending on your situation. So I'd like to give just a bit of a disclaimer here. There might be some really specific messages in some of these cards. Those messages are for you if they resonate and you feel that they're for you. If you are already in a relationship, you can take the messages in these cards to be messages about the individual you're with. If you feel a connection with somebody, but you're not sure yet whether it's reciprocated, how they feel about you, you can take the messages as a confirmation of what you're feeling or as a message about changing gears as it resonates. If you're completely single, not looking, not interested in romance, bye, we'll see you in the next reading. These probably won't make any sense or matter to you anyway. I mean, you can keep listening for fun if you want to, but they may or may not be for you. So just as a little disclaimer, if you are with somebody or if there's somebody specific you want to see messages from in these cards, I invite you to please think of that person now and set the intention that the messages that come through in these cards come through relating to that individual. If you're single and looking, set the intention that the messages that come through in these cards will give you a hint about who the individual might be so that when they present themselves in your life, you'll be able to recognize them. We'll do it that way. So I just gave a romance reading earlier today, and these were the cards that I used. And I was encouraged by that reading to do this reading for the collective because my client said so beautifully that all the messages that came through made perfect sense. And one of them was even verbatim what that person's partner said to them in a private message. So it's very cool when things come through that specifically. And this is why I want to give the little disclaimer. So in a collective reading, some messages will be just for you and you'll feel it and you'll know that those messages are for you. Other messages you might think, I'm not so sure about that. Just trust that those are messages coming through for somebody else who's watching the video. Don't feel like you have to make any life decisions or have any feelings any certain way based on what comes through in a collective reading. But if you do have a romantic situation that you're wondering about, something that you're manifesting, something that you're in the middle of, something that you're not so sure whether or not to pursue, I do offer relationship readings and romance readings. In those readings, I work with all of the decks of cards. I look at the energies and the connection using the crystal ally cards. I look at the physical expression of the connection using the tarot. I look at messages about the love from existence using this deck that was designed by a beautiful psychic twin flame couple who channeled the messages together in order to help others in their relationship journeys. And I also use a beautiful deck called the Lover's Oracle that have wonderful heart-shaped cards. We'll look at those two, in fact. Since I'm pulling them out of the box, I think that means we'll look at one of these as well. Each one has a different illustration. They're just super gorgeous, and they have really powerful messages. So yeah, that said, the talisman that I chose to represent our romance reading is this beautiful double terminated, I started saying tourmaline, double terminated twin Himalayan quartz crystal with rose quartz. So Himalayan quartz radiates such a powerful frequency of purity, connection. It's kind of like a cosmic portal to allow us to connect with our higher messages. And when we see 2 points, so 2 crystal terminations on the same crystal, it represents the coming together of 2 unique individuals who can create something more through their union than what they would be individually. So it's like, if you're a great singer and somebody else is a great musician, you come together, your voice sounds better with their music accompanying it, and their music is given meaning by your lyrics, right? If you're a painter and somebody else is a sculptor, How cool would your exhibit look if you're activating the 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional space, right? So when we see two unique crystal points but coming together in one crystal, whew, that is a powerful talisman to draw in partnerships. And the Rose Quartz is a heart chakra gem of romance. So naturally that goes with our love talismans. So all that said, what are the romantic messages for the collective for 2023? I'm not going to look at past, present, future for this reading, by the way. I'm just going to look at the cards for right now. What do we need to know now when it comes to romance? And let me explain for a moment why I do it that way. So for our life path energies, where we look at the crystal oracle cards, we look at present, past, and future because we ourselves are experiencing the trajectory of our present moment based on what we've done in the past, moving into the future if we continue on that path we've set for ourselves. When it comes to our life path energies and our physical reality, it's dependent on us, our feelings, our actions, our decisions. When it comes to romance and relationships, it's not entirely up to us. It's also up to the other person with whom we're connected. And so we have different pasts from each other. We may choose different futures than each other. And so the messages that are intertwined are always in the present. You are there in the past, you are there in the future. The other is also there in the past and also there in the future, but your connection is what it is in the here and now. So getting present is the only way to really connect with somebody else. Oh, that sounds very confusing. I might do a whole video about that. Let me know in the comments if you feel that that was clear or if you'd like a little bit more elaboration. But for now, I don't want to waste your time in the reading. Let's look at the messages. What are 3 messages we are meant to receive in the now? This one jumped out. Beautiful card. Existence, please let me see 2 more. And for the collective, wow, okay. So they are not beating around the bush when it comes to our messages for romance. The very first card that jumped out is the card of the universe. And it says, the universe is guiding you to that special person. Allow everything to take its natural course. Collectively, we are going through a time where the relationships that we want to call in and experience are not coming easily. Challenges, says all true soul connections involve challenges that can be overcome together. And confusion, all seekers of truth experience confusion. Ask the divine to provide the answers you need. So you might be asking yourself, am I even meant to be with somebody in this life? Am I just dreaming? Am I just projecting? Am I just fantasizing? It's kind of like that little game kids play with the flower where they pull off the petals. He loves me not. He loves me not. And if it ends on he loves me not, they might pick another flower and say, let's try that again. We are going through a collective time of not yet seeing the fulfillment of what we wanted to manifest. So you might be at a distance from the object of your affection and feel like nothing can happen as long as we're physically so separated. You may not have met the person yet, and so you're not sure if there is somebody for you. You might be with somebody, but you have trouble reading their expressions or understanding what they're feeling if there's a lack of communication. Based on these cards, I feel that you who are watching this, we're in this together. We might not really yet know who we're meant to be with or how that's meant to take place, or if we do kind of know who, we might not know whether or not that's mutual. Just surrender to the universe. The worst thing we can do when manifesting a romantic relationship is be fixated on any definite, necessary prerequisite that will block existence from manifesting what we're meant to experience as we're meant to experience it. So, for example, when it comes to manifesting our dream career, it is good for us to get specific and to set goals for ourselves and to work towards and reach those goals, because it's up to us to make them into a reality. When it comes to a partnership, however, there are two people's free wills involved. And so if we say, if I don't get a message from this person on this day at this time, then it's not meant to be, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment, and we're setting that other person up for failure. Whereas we don't know what they're doing at that day, at that time, at that specific moment, whether or not they may send us a message exactly right then and there. If, for example, I've heard a lot of women say this when I give reading, and men too, I don't mean to be gender specific about this. I've heard people say, I was supposed to be married by this age. This person hasn't proposed yet. That person isn't ready to commit yet. So I'm going to end the relationship. Why? We have so many social constructs telling us that we need to put labels on things, define things, set timelines for things, be specific about things. Yet what I'm feeling with these cards is that the confusion itself, the challenges that have come up on the emotional space, they are not helping the connection take form. They are hindering that connection from taking form. So choose to release the confusion. That doesn't mean you will have all the answers. It means you let go of trying to figure out what the answers are. I don't like to quote, religious, overly, Western religious things, but I'm getting the message, let go and let God. So whatever you call God, whether you say God or the universe or existence or Shiva or Shakti or goddess or Buddha or personal truth or wisdom, whatever word, let go and let truth. Let go and let the universe. Let go of trying to interpret who the other person is, what they meant by what they said, whether or not you should pursue it. Just surrender it. Since the universe card was the very first card that came out in this romantic space, the most important thing we can do right now is trust the universe to create the connection as it's meant to be. Is it going to be an easy, smooth, instant where you meet, you fall, it's love at first sight, and by nature of the fact that it's love at first sight, you're automatically a couple, and then you're engaged, and then you're married? No, there will be challenges. So if you're feeling like I must be doing this wrong because there are challenges, this card is here to let you know, no, you're not doing anything wrong. The challenges are meant to be there. Like if you go to climb a mountain, it's going to be steep at times. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tricky, but look how victorious you feel when you reach that summit, despite the challenges you overcame to get there. This is a journey. All true soul connections involve challenges. So if you're looking at your situation thinking this cannot be a true soul connection, because if it was, it would be easy. There wouldn't be challenges. Drop that. That's the confusion. Challenges exist because we are here to learn. Human embodiment is not an easy thing. You have taken the master course of consciousness, living in the higher dimensions where love and light permeate every moment of reality, where everyone is energetically connected to everyone else, where your soul family are in perfect harmony at all times. Beautiful as it is, that's easy. You don't feel the victory of climbing that mountain because you're automatically at the top. But when we come into a human body on planet Earth, we have agreed on a soul level. We've taken the contract to experience difficulty, to experience physicality. We are subjected to diseases down here. We have to learn things from keeping our bodies clean and well nourished and well exercised in order to be healthy. We have to learn the financial system if we're living in this economy where we're living. We have to learn how to make money to pay for ourselves. Everything that exists in the 3D world, to some degree or another, is a challenge. Don't compare your journey to somebody else's edited content, curated content. So if you see hashtag couple goals on Instagram and it's two people, having breakfast in bed on a day off with the sunlight streaming in, and they look airbrushed perfection and they look like they're fully in love, that doesn't mean that their relationship is perfect. That means that they took a great photo. Just remember that. Everything worth doing will have challenges involved. And if you're seeing challenges, that doesn't mean that it's not a soul connection. So surrender that confusion, embrace the challenges. Consider it like when you're training for a marathon or preparing yourself to climb that mountain. Do your stretching. Know that you've got this, and allow the universe to create your connection as it's meant to be, without the judgment of self or the judgment of the other. I'm now going to ask for one final card from the Lover's Oracle, and I always close my eyes when I shuffle these cards because I don't want to be swayed by the image that's painted on it. So you can see them, FYI, you can see them, but I can't. I'll stop when it feels like the card wants to be picked. What is our final message? In fact, I'll stop and we'll look at the top and the bottom. Top will be outer world, bottom will be inner world. And it feels right. So the outer world card right now. Give thanks for the blessings of love soon to come your way. Know that you deserve to be and have all that your heart truly desires. What a beautiful card of manifestation, fully aligned with the universe is guiding you to the special person. So I feel like collectively the majority of you watching this don't have a specific person in mind yet, or maybe it's a very new connection, so you're still wondering whether or not it's meant to be. But just remember, you are worthy, you deserve to love and to be loved. You have that right. Love is not romantic love. It's not a privilege for a select few worthy, deserving people. It is your birthright. Remember the Fool Tarot card that came up reversed in the last segment of this reading. As long as we're hesitant to take on something new, to put ourselves out there, to feel what we're feeling, if we close ourselves off based on past heartbreaks or past disappointments or just feelings of inadequacy, we will never manifest. Whether it's anything or especially love, we won't manifest it. But when we allow ourselves to go into the unknown, it doesn't have to be fearlessly. You might go into the unknown with fear and trepidation, but be willing to put yourself out there. Be willing to go into that fear. It will pay off. Know that you deserve to be and have all that your heart truly desires. That's on the outer world space, so you deserve it. The universe is saying so. Listen to the universe. It knows what it's talking about. Its existence. The inner world card, transformation. Your relationship with one another is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. So specifically for those who already might have a special somebody in mind, who might be feeling like the blossoming of a new love connection, trust the process, accept the challenges. The challenges are there to be overcome, not to put a hard stop to what you're doing. And things are going to transform for the better. Your connection is going to deepen. That love conquers and transforms all things. That means if there is any confusion, the love will overrule that confusion. If there is a challenge, the love will help you overcome that challenge. So for those in a relationship already, this is your sign that that relationship is about to deepen and get even better. And if you're not yet in a connection, obviously the transformation about to take place is that you will find that connection. Very beautiful cards. I think this was a wonderful reading, and especially at this time of New Year, which is a transitional time, we are stepping into something very new. So collectively, it looks like for all of us here, collectively, there's still a question mark. There's still a little bit of unknown, but based on what I'm seeing, that just means it's time for us to surrender more deeply, trust the universe, trust our inner guidance, and implement that friendliness in that inner space when we talk to ourselves. Be the fool, be willing to step into something new, and remind ourselves that we are deserving of that we have the right to be loved, that we don't have to be identical to the beloved, but we have to be willing to listen to where they're coming from and to communicate where we're coming from, and where the two intertwine. Just like the branches of these trees, when the hands come together, when the two become one, we become something more than the sum of our parts. Two individuals having individual experiences offer their individual perspectives to the world. When their energies blend and they create that harmony, what they offer into the world is something magical, transformational. It shows an example for everyone else that it's possible. And as I said the word possible, I looked at the time and it was 1 hour, 11 minutes and 11 seconds. So 11111. I take that as the perfect exclamation mark at the end of this reading. And thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what resonated, and if it didn't resonate at all, I'm a big girl. I can take your negative feedback. Let me know. Did you enjoy the collective reading? Do you prefer a pick a card where it's not everyone getting the same message? I'm curious. I'm here to cater to what you like, because after all, I make these videos for you to watch, not just for me to hear my own voice. Anyway, Happy New Year. I hope 2023 brings you all the blessings that these cards foretold, and I will see you again in another video very soon. By the way, I'm starting to do daily card readings on TikTok in 2023. That's on my to-do list, so you can see the video description below for a link to my new TikTok account. And if you want a personal reading that's not collective, that's messages just specifically for you, you can book one through my Etsy shop link, and you can also find the talismans I shared today on Etsy. There will be a Patreon exclusive reading continuation where I'm going to look at cards from the Starseed Oracle. So specifically, what are the messages for our Starseed collective? If you want to get in on that action, my Patreon link is also in the video description. So much love to you. Bye for now.